Well, reports say that President Biden is going to announce his re-election campaign just next week from the White House. For more on this, I want to bring in a Democratic strategist, Max Burns, who's also the founder of Third Degree Strategies. And Max, thank you for being with us. Let's jump right in. Ahead of this announcement, do you think that it actually happens, for one? And if so, do you think the president has enough support?
Yeah, I think a lot of people now are seeing the machinery starting to move. The president has called together his major donors. They're all coming into Washington for a one-on-one. It certainly sounds like the movements of someone who's running for president. And popularity-wise, I think it's going to be another tight race. You're seeing him right around 50% in approval ratings. He's really helped by how much chaos is going on in the Republican Party right now, but it's not going to be a cakewalk. He's going to have a lot of tough campaign work ahead.
Do you think that President Biden overcomes other challengers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think any Democrat that's been floated has so far been afraid to actually say it themselves, which is always a great sign if you're Joe Biden. And I think right now the main people who have been floated as opponents for him, Pete Buttigieg, for example, has said pretty clearly he's not going to do it. I think right now the party understands how important it is to get united behind Joe Biden. So I even if someone comes up, I doubt you're going to see them get much attention or support at all.
What does the president make his campaign about, and what does he run on when there are so many issues that everyday Americans face, like inflation, high gas prices? They see that there's craziness at the border in some cases. So what does the president say to voters to continue to keep their support with all these issues just running rampant?
That's a great question. And what Joe Biden at least has indicated is he's going to stick with a very economic policy and jobs argument here. He's going to point to the lowest unemployment rate in memory. He's going to point to the record number of Americans who've got jobs under his administration. And he's said very clearly, and his advisors have said they'll probably try and avoid social issues that they're going to try and get dragged into here by Republicans. Now, that's upset a lot of Democrats on the left who think that that means we're not going to talk about abortion, LGBT issues, that we're not going to talk about a birth control fight. But it seems that that may be the exception. But there's certainly going to be a very lively conversation about what gets left out of this campaign as we get into 2024.
How do you please voters who want somebody younger? Obviously, the president is not, somebody who's in their mid 40s. The president is 80 years old. So, how does he appeal to people who think, gosh, he is so old, it needs to be somebody new? And Republicans are criticizing that all the time, questioning his cognitive state.
Well, I think that's one of the big challenges Biden faces. He may not feel his age, but he certainly looks his age, and he's certainly given fuel to younger activists that maybe he's not pursuing their agenda with the same energy that maybe a younger, more progressive Democrat would. But I think when you come down to it, Joe Biden has built coalitions in the past that have won. He won in 2020. And this is going to be a massive undertaking that's really going to leverage his great strength with retail politics and focusing on those kitchen table issues that I think everyone shares. Everyone is concerned about having a job that pays them a living wage. Everyone's concerned about having health care. Everyone's concerned about being able to take their kids to the doctor and not go bankrupt. And those are really the issues I think he's going to try and lean in on.
Do you think Republicans have enough momentum to beat him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone who says that Democrats have this in the bag is lying to you. I mean, this will be a close race. Republicans are raising a lot of money, and there is a significant chunk of the country we saw in 2020 that is ride or die for Republicans. Now, whether that's Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump or someone else, it certainly looks at the moment like Donald Trump has a chokehold on this nomination. But once this field narrows, you're going to see them fall behind their nominee. What Joe Biden's maybe hoping is that it's a really destructive, really drawn out, really publicly messy nomination process compared to how smooth it's looking like the Democrats will have.
Speaking to Republicans, do you feel that somebody can overtake Trump? Obviously, Haley has announced, and Tim Scott has an exploratory committee, and many suspect Governor DeSantis will as well. Do any of those people overcome Donald Trump?
There's always a possibility. I think 6 months ago, even 2 months ago, I would have said DeSantis was the favorite to sort of take on a weakened Donald Trump. But we've seen just in the past week that Donald Trump has really started to roll out Florida endorsements. He's got 10 members of Congress from Florida to 1 for Ron DeSantis. And now a lot of negative press is starting to come out about how DeSantis is sort of lacking in that political touch with Republicans. There's a big story in Politico on Friday that said that people had served with Ron DeSantis for years. He never talked to them until he wanted something. So it's certainly something that's concerning Ron DeSantis, and he's probably hoping that this will be something that may follows its course and ends quickly because it has been a rough couple of weeks for that campaign.
All right, Max Burns, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate your analysis.
Absolutely, thank you.
And if the president does announce a re-election campaign, we'll talk more about it coming up in the next episode. Thanks for watching.